Medellin, Colombia, known for its vibrant nightlife, has recently implemented a 6-month ban on prostitution in specific tourist zones. This decision comes after a series of incidents, including the arrest of an American tourist found with underage girls. Mayor Federico Gutierrez claims the ban aims to protect minors and regain control of areas rife with sex tourism. However, this move has sparked controversy, with critics arguing that it unfairly targets sex workers and fails to address the deeper issue of child exploitation. The rapid growth of tourism in recent years has only magnified the visibility of the trade, bringing it into the spotlight. Yet the ban is seen by some as more of a public relations maneuver than a genuine attempt at resolving the issue. Moreover, the enforcement of such a ban is fraught with challenges. Authorities are tasked with monitoring a bustling nightlife that thrives on discretion and anonymity. The clandestine nature of the trade makes it difficult to regulate, and a ban could inadvertently push sex work further underground. This would make it harder to protect those involved, particularly minors. In the midst of this controversy, sex workers find themselves caught in a precarious situation. The ban places them in a vulnerable position with no clear alternatives provided. At the heart of the issue lies a complex web of socio-economic factors. Poverty, lack of opportunities, and a culture of machismo contribute to the vulnerability of young people, particularly girls, to exploitation. The Colombian government's inability to effectively address these root causes has allowed child sex trafficking to thrive. While prostitution between consenting adults is legal in Colombia, the line blurs when it comes to minors, who are often coerced or forced into the trade. In Medellin, economic disparities are stark. Many families live in extreme poverty with limited access to education and employment. This creates a fertile ground for exploitation. Traffickers prey on the desperation of these vulnerable communities, offering false promises of a better life. For many, the choice to enter the sex trade is not a choice at all, but a means of survival. Traditional gender roles and societal expectations place significant pressure on young girls. They are often seen as commodities rather than individuals with rights and autonomy. Addressing these root causes requires a multifaceted approach. Stories like Jennifer's shed light on the harsh realities faced by minors caught in the sex trade. Jennifer, a 16-year-old girl from a poor neighborhood in Medellin, was lured into the trade with promises of money and a better life. Instead, she found herself trapped in a cycle of exploitation and abuse. Her story is not unique. Many young girls in Medellin share similar fates. Jennifer operates in dangerous conditions with little to no protection from authorities. The ban has done little to change her situation. Forced to work in even more clandestine settings, the risk of violence and exploitation has increased. The individuals who profit from her work, like local trafficker Alexa Gomez, continue to operate with impunity. These young girls are often managed by individuals who see them as mere commodities. The ban, while well-intentioned, does little to improve their situation and may even push them further into the shadows. It is crucial to provide these girls with alternatives such as education and safe employment opportunities. The ban has created a rift in the city, with some supporting the mayor's efforts to curb sex tourism and protect minors. Others, including local businesses and sex worker unions, argue that it unfairly impacts their livelihoods and fails to address the complexities of the issue. Supporters of the ban believe it is a necessary step to protect vulnerable minors and clean up Medellin's tourist image. They argue that the city's reputation as a sex tourism destination attracts predators and endangers local youth. For these advocates, the ban represents a moral imperative and a step towards a safer, more respectful city. On the other hand, opponents of the ban highlight its economic impact on sex workers. Many of these individuals rely on the trade to support their families. The ban, in their view, is a punitive measure that targets the wrong people. Instead of addressing the traffickers and abusers, it criminalizes the workers themselves, driving them into more dangerous situations. Local businesses in the affected tourist zones also feel the strain. The nightlife industry in Medellin is a significant economic driver. The division within the city reflects broader societal tensions. Despite the ban, reports suggest that sex work continues discreetly in the designated areas. Authorities face an uphill battle in enforcing the new regulations. and the lack of alternative solutions for sex workers may be driving the trade further underground. This highlights the limitations of a purely prohibitive approach and underscores the need for comprehensive strategies that address the root causes of exploitation. Enforcing the ban is a logistical challenge. Medellin's nightlife is vibrant and sprawling, with numerous venues and hidden corners. Policing these areas effectively requires significant resources and manpower. Even then, the clandestine nature of the trade means that much of it goes undetected. Reports indicate that sex work continues, simply shifting to less visible locations. The lack of viable alternatives for sex workers exacerbates the issue. With no other means of livelihood, many are forced to continue working despite the risks. This underground shift makes it harder for authorities to monitor and protect them. Critics argue that the ban fails to address the root causes of exploitation. Without tackling poverty, lack of education, and cultural norms, any prohibitive measure is likely to be ineffective. A more effective approach would involve comprehensive strategies. Experts argue that tackling the issue of child sex trafficking requires a multi-pronged approach. This includes addressing poverty and inequality, providing education and economic opportunities for vulnerable communities, and challenging the cultural norms that perpetuate exploitation. Additionally, effective law enforcement and judicial processes are crucial for holding perpetrators accountable and ensuring justice for victims. Addressing poverty is a fundamental step. Economic deprivation is a key driver of exploitation. Programs that focus on economic development, job creation, and social support can provide vulnerable families with the means to escape the cycle of poverty. Education is equally important. Access to quality education can empower young people and provide them with the tools to build a better future. Challenging cultural norms is also essential. The culture of machismo and traditional gender roles contribute to the exploitation of young girls. Public awareness campaigns, community engagement, and education can help shift these harmful norms. Effective law enforcement and judicial processes are crucial. Traffickers and abusers must be held accountable for their actions. Real solutions require collaboration and commitment from all stakeholders. The situation in Medellin serves as a stark reminder of the global issue of child sex trafficking. It is a complex problem that demands a nuanced understanding and a commitment to addressing the root causes. Simply banning prostitution without addressing the underlying factors is unlikely to be effective and may even exacerbate the vulnerability of those it intends to protect. Child sex trafficking is a global issue affecting millions of children worldwide. It is fueled by poverty, inequality, and cultural norms that devalue children's rights. Efforts to combat it must go beyond surface-level measures. Comprehensive strategies are needed to address the root causes and provide support for victims. International cooperation is crucial. Trafficking networks often operate across borders, requiring coordinated efforts between countries. Sharing information, resources, and best practices can strengthen the global response to this issue. Raising awareness is also important. Ultimately, the goal is to create a world where children are safe from exploitation. The fight against child sex trafficking requires a collective effort from governments, NGOs, and individuals. It is crucial to raise awareness about the issue, support organizations working to combat exploitation, and advocate for policies that protect the rights and well-being of all children. Only through a concerted and compassionate approach can we hope to create a world where children are safe from such horrific abuse. Governments have a key role to play. They must implement and enforce laws that protect children and hold perpetrators accountable. This includes providing resources for law enforcement and support services for victims. Governments must also address the root causes of exploitation through policies that promote economic development, education, and gender equality. NGOs and community organizations are vital in this fight. They provide essential services such as counseling, legal aid, and safe spaces for victims. They also advocate for policy changes and raise awareness about the issue. Supporting these organizations through donations, volunteering, and advocacy can make a significant impact. Individuals also have a role to play. By educating themselves about the issue and advocating for change, they can contribute to the fight against child sex trafficking.